Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday. I haven't seen you guys in a while, but I wanted to come on here to give some good news to veterans who are in the market for buying a house. There's a new VA announcement update that says that they may be beneficial to VA home buyers. So if you're just tuning in now, shout out where you're watching from, and let me know which branch of the military you served in. If you're new to the channel, I'm Larita. I'm an attorney, and I like to give updates for VA benefits for our viewers. And I want to see where you're watching from and which branch of the military. So Navy, Coast Guard, Army, Air Force, and I'm missing one. Tell me which one I'm missing. I usually miss Coast Guard. Comment where you're watching from. And I know I missed one. So tell me what's the fifth one I missed in the comment section. But today I'm going to tell you that if you're a VA home buyer, this new update that VA says that is available may be a benefit to you, but what I think about it, I'm going to let you know. You can decide which one you think is a benefit. So the announcement, I'm going to share the screen with you to see the actual press announcement, and then in the description box, I'll leave all the information to the links so that if you want to actually go there and see for yourself, or if you're going to apply for a certificate of eligibility so you can actually apply for a VA home loan, I'll leave all the information in the description box. Also, I get asked this question a lot. Can I represent you? No, I'm not taking new clients, but I'll leave in the description box link to VA accredited attorneys or VSOs, veteran service officers. So let's share the screen. And hopefully you can see it. I find it useful if you are watching on your phone that you turn your phone sideways so you can see it long ways, and that way you can see the print a little easier. So this says, VA announces updates to help veterans using VA home loan benefits remain competitive in the housing market. Excuse me. Oh, no, this actually is let me share the update because this is effective August of this year, but I want to share the original one. That was the update that says that it was effective August. All right, so I think this is one. VA. VA updates home loan benefits helping veterans remain competitive in the housing market. So this is based off of basically, there was a lawsuit, I'll summarize it. It was a lawsuit from the National Association of Realtors where they settled a class action that said that brokers, when you apply, like when you sell a house, usually the seller pays for the brokerage fee. So they share between the agent for the buyer and the agent for the seller. And usually the seller actually takes the brunt of all this. So let's say 6%. The seller pays 6% of the housing costs, and then they split it between the agent and the agent for the buyer and the agent for the seller. With the new settlement, now you're supposed to negotiate. Now, industry standard was like they didn't negotiate; the seller just paid. This was basically saying now that the buyer can now perhaps pay a portion of the broker fees for actually the home seller's agent, right? And so what this actually does, what VA is saying now, previously to this settlement, you could not use a VA loan to pay the buyer broker fees. You would actually have to pay that out of your own pocket. But this actual settlement allowed VA to say, okay, let's make sure that we have the veterans competing in the housing market. We will allow veterans to pay buyer broker fees with the VA home loan. Now, they, of course, want you to still negotiate the fees if that's possible, but they will allow you to use that as part of the VA loan process, whereas before you would have to pay that totally out of pocket. So so this is basically explaining it. This is the actual press release. This is why does this potential change matter? It's because veterans could not use the buyer broker fees could not pay the buyer broker fees when purchasing a home. What does it mean for you? You can still negotiate and actually be able to pay the broker fees beginning August 10th. Should you negotiate these fees? Yes. Will there be future updates? They will update it, but right now it allows you to compete. What is a benefit? So in the grand scheme of thing, that's helpful, right? For veterans who want to go buy a house. Previously, like I said, the seller took the brunt of the commission costs. Now, if the seller is not negotiating and saying like, I'm going to pay all of it, you can actually have it rolled into the VA loan that you have. In the grand scheme of things, I think not only is probably it's not helpful to VA buyers, but just buyers in general, because now they perhaps will have to pay for a portion of the commission fees if that's what's negotiated. Sellers are no longer having to take it out of their their profit that they made, they don't want to spend 6% of the whole amount. Let's say they'll pay their 3% and they expect the buyer to pay their 3%. But it does allow veterans to still compete. I know, just like in reality, how industry works, sometimes VA loans take a little bit longer to close. Sometimes sellers don't want to accept offers from people who have VA loans because they know it may not be a fast closing date. This puts veterans in a better position to be able to negotiate with someone who does want to accept a VA loan in regards to accepting the offer. Allows them to be able to say, okay, I can pay some of the broker fees if you accept my offer. Now, the good thing about VA loans, if you didn't know already, is that you don't have to pay any down payment. You have no PMI if you don't, private mortgage insurance. You don't have to pay that if you put less than 20% down. You have a competitive interest rate. So there are benefits to having VA loans, which is why veterans or active duty people or people who are on National Guard or Guard service actually take advantage of these things. But like I said, there are some pros and cons to actually having VA loans, but this basically allows you to compete a little bit more. So let me just type in the comment section, see who's watching, and see what branch of the military you serve. Vivian Robinson O'Neill, hi. Marines, let me know. Oh, that's when I was missing, Marines. Thank you. Let me know in the comment section where you're watching from and which branch of the military you served. So I'm going to share the screen because I mentioned earlier that you need a certificate of eligibility to actually apply for a VA loan. And if you're not familiar with the process, you can get approved. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see the VA home loan screen. And like I said, if you're just hopping in now, turn your screen. If you're watching the phone, turn your screen sideways so you can see. So this is the VA home loans page. It tells you basically how to apply, the benefits and the eligibility. And if you click on the eligibility purpose, it tells you like if you're trying to refinance, trying to purchase a loan, interest rate reduction, refinance. It tells you, it gives you a VA home loan buyer's guide. It tells you the benefits of actually having a VA home loan. And I mentioned some of those benefits already. But so this is main pillars of VA home benefit: no down payment required, competitively low interest rates, limited closing costs, and no need for PMI. The VA home loan is a lifetime benefit. You can use the guarantee multiple times. There also is a requirement that you live in the home that you're using it for. So you can't use it for investment purposes. So you just want to just buy a whole bunch. In the technical sense, you can't use it that way, right? Because you can use it to buy a home for investment property and just have a regular home without a VA loan. And in essence, you're basically having two properties. But in theory, you can have two home loans out for two different properties. One, it has to be your primary residence if you're using it for that purpose. Let's see in the comment section who else is watching. Michael Driver, U.S. Air Force. Thanks for watching, Michael. R. Willis from Texas. Okay, I'm in Texas too, and you're watching from Riverside, California. Okay, so California, I know the market is different in California. In Texas, where I'm at, 6% has been the standard. But I know I was helping a family member on a recent home buying process in December of last year, and I noticed that this was December of last year, right? Shortly after they were trying to do the settlement, and the buyer the seller was pretty savvy in regards to knowing that, hey, I don't have to pay the 6% commission rate. So on the actual listing, it said that the buyer agent fee was 2.5%. And the seller agent was higher, right? So the seller was willing to pay his agent more than the buyer's agent. And then it came to the negotiation process, because usually in the standard, when you're making an offer on a house, they put the standard 6% in, 3-3 split between the agent and the buyer. In this situation, it was left the time to negotiate. So the buyer's agent was like, hey, and put in the standard 3%, and it kind of got negotiated how much the seller was willing to pay. This is still without the buyer paying anything, right? The buyer agent was trying to get more of the standard. And this kind of this is just the start of it, because people are like, no more, gone are the days where the seller feel like they have to pay, let's say on a standard $400,000 house, which is what the standard industry houses in Texas, paying a portion of that to 6% of that to your agents, the buyer and the sellers. is no longer, it's like come out to like $27,000, right? So they're like, well, that's taken away from my profit. Can I actually share this with the buyer? And in this case, if you were a veteran VA home buyer, you could actually say, okay, if you wanted that house badly, you can say, well, I'll pay $5,000. I'll pay $10,000 towards the commission price if you really wanted that house, and it can be rolled into your VA loan, whereas previously that was not allowed. So I think that it basically gives people some more leverage. But like I said, I don't know as far as how effective that is for just buyers in general, whether they be veteran buyers or not. So it says, this is a CNN article from when it first happened. The realtor settlement is already changing the way some Americans buy and sell homes. So this is as of March 2024. The seismic settlement announced by the National Association of Realtors earlier this month has not yet been approved, but it's already sending shockwaves through the real estate industry. The mere prospect of a future settlement has already caused some Americans to change their behavior when buying and selling homes. Some prospective home buyers said they plan to restart their housing search after the new rules are in place in hopes of finding lower home prices, while some home sellers aren't waiting for the new rules to take effect in July to lower or even eliminate the commission they offer to buyers' agents. Housing experts say that the $418 million settlement will effectively demolish the current real estate business model in which home sellers pay both their agent and their buyer's agent, which critics say inflated housing prices. If approved, the settlement comes with new rules for realtors. So we already know it's approved. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. What do you think about this new change? Obviously, it benefits the sellers more than the buyers, but does it all wash out? Because once you buy a house and then you become a seller in the future, it benefits you in the future. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think this is a fair kind of negotiation tactic? And I know veterans, how does it benefit them? How does it impact them? I want to know what you think about it, because like I said, I had a previous experience with someone who just recently bought and had that kind of come up because it's recent. Also, if you're a veteran, I also have plenty of playlist videos about service connection benefits, increased rating benefits. If you were overpaid benefits and now VA is saying give me their money back, they want to take the money back. What else? We have all kinds of different kind of benefit videos. If you're new to here, check it out on the playlist and let me know if there's any other topics that you want me to discuss in particular. But I know this VA home loan thing is something that may be a benefit to you. And with the interest rates and with the housing market, time will tell whether it be beneficial to everybody. So that's what I want to come over here to say. And hopefully that, if you're in the market, you find the home that is affordable for you and that is the right interest rate for you and all those things. So thanks for joining today on the Saturday. And let's see, we have any other comments, Rye? Vivian Roberts, I think the seller should pay the closing costs. Okay, well, this is not the closing. So you think they should pay the closing costs, not the buyer's fee? Or you think they should pay everything? Because this is referring to the commission that the agents make, either the buyer's agent or the seller's agents make. So if they closing costs is something different that usually associated with actually processing the loan, but this is basically the commission fees for what the realtors do or do not do. What do you guys think about realtors? Do you think they really earn their fee, their commission? In some situations, a lot of the home buyers are very savvy now these days, and they kind of know what they want. And I'm not so sure how much the realtors do to kind of get that chunk of the percentage, which comes a question like, should they be getting paid this much for doing minimal work? There are some realtors that do a lot of legwork. There are other ones where you're like, I know the house I want to put an offer in. They're basically just putting in a couple of paperwork that's boilerplate, and they're getting a huge chunk of money for not a lot of time of doing things. So it kind of depends. And I guess it's very fact specific whether the realtor actually does the work needed to earn the commission. In my opinion, in my experience, the realtors I've had haven't earned their commission. I've been the buyer and the seller, and I didn't think that they should have gotten that much. That's just my personal opinion, because I'm like, I did a lot of the legwork and they did minimal. But there are some realtors that do a lot of the legwork. So I guess it kind of depends on it, and that's why it should be negotiated, how much you should pay. So Vivian Robinson to pay everything. Oh, you want the seller to pay everything. Well, I mean, when you become the seller, you may not feel that way. You may feel different when you become a seller and it turns, the tables turn. So I think, like I said, it just depends on what you think. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you're watching on the replay, gang, Hashtag replay gang in the comment section and let me know which branch of the military you served, if you used a VA home loan, if you found it beneficial or not beneficial in your negotiation process. Did you find that you were able to compete with other buyers with the VA home loan? So thank you guys for watching tonight from all over, from California, Texas area. And I'll see you in the next video.